You know when you're shopping online and that frequently bought together section pops up? It's kind of spooky, right? How does it know? Well, it's not magic, though it sure feels like it. Behind the scenes, there's this really powerful, but actually pretty simple idea for finding hidden patterns in data. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the algorithm that seems to know what you'll buy next.
So, it all kind of starts with this classic and honestly pretty weird question. What on earth do beer and diapers have in common? And no, this isn't the setup for a bad joke. It's actually one of the most famous stories in the world of data mining. See, years ago, a retailer dug into their sales data and found something odd. People who bought diapers also, weirdly enough, tended to buy beer on the same trip. Now, that's a link most of us would never guess, and it's the perfect example of finding these powerful patterns that our own brains would just totally miss.
And the secret to finding these connections? It's not in some crazy complex data set. Nope, it's hidden in plain sight in super simple transaction records just like these. This is the heart of what's called market basket analysis. I mean, look at it. Each row is just one person's shopping trip. Transaction 1, bread, butter, milk, easy. Transaction 2, bread and eggs. Got it. Now, imagine looking at thousands or even millions of these simple shopping baskets. That's when you can really start to see the connections emerge.
Okay, but looking at millions of transactions, that creates a huge challenge, right? I mean, how do you even begin to sort through all that noise to find the patterns that actually matter? And that, right there, brings us to what's known as the billion rule problem. So you might think, well, why not just check everything? That's the straightforward way, what we call the brute force method. You'd literally just test every single possibility. Does bread lead to butter? Check. Does bread lead to milk? Check. Do bread and milk lead to eggs? Check. You get the idea. You just go on and on for every single combination you can dream up.
And hey, for a tiny data set, that might sound doable. But let's just scale it up, just a little bit. Picture a small corner store. It only sells, say, 20 different things. Not a lot, right? So how many of those if-then rules do you think you'd have to check?
Get ready for this. The answer is almost 3.5 billion. Billion with a B for just 20 items. Now think about a real grocery store with thousands of items. It's just impossible. You can't do it. So the real question, the multi-billion-dollar question, is how do we find that handful of really good, useful rules without getting completely lost in the billions of useless ones?
Well, to do that, we're going to need a couple of tools, some key metrics that let us measure just how strong these hidden patterns are. Think of them as our secret decoders for what's really happening inside that shopping cart.
Our first tool is called support, and honestly, it sounds more technical than it is. It's super simple. Support just asks one thing. How popular is this group of items? That's it. It's just the percentage of all shopping trips that have that specific set of items in them. So if the support is high, it means a ton of people are buying those things together.
Let's look at our little example again. Okay, so the combination of bread and butter, let's see, it shows up in 4 out of the 8 total shopping trips, right? So you just do the math. 4 divided by 8 is 0.5 or 50%. That's its support. All that tells us is that, hey, this combo is pretty darn common. Okay, tool number 2 is confidence. This one's all about predictability. Think of it this way. If support tells us how often people buy bread and butter together, confidence tells us, okay, but if I see someone put bread in their cart, what are the chances they'll also grab butter? It measures how reliable that if-then rule really is.
And here's how we figure that out. We already know that the support for bread and butter together is 50%. And we can see that bread by itself has a support of 75%. To get the confidence, you just divide the support of them both by the support of the if part, in this case, bread. So 50% divided by 75%, that gives us a confidence of about 66.7%. What does that mean? It means if a customer buys bread, there's a 2 out of 3 chance they're also going to buy butter. That's a rule you can bet on.
Okay, so we've got our tools, right? Support and confidence. But we still have that pesky billion rule problem looming over us. How do we use these tools without checking every single thing? Well, this is where we get to the big aha moment behind the a priori algorithm. The whole algorithm is built around just one, incredibly clever shortcut. It's a simple little piece of logic, but it's powerful enough to let us just toss out millions, even billions of potential rules without ever bothering to check them.
And here it is. This is the core idea. It's called the a priori principle, and it's basically just common sense. It says, if an item set is rare, then any bigger set containing it is also going to be rare.
I mean, think about it. If almost nobody is buying peanut butter and pickles together, then it's a safe bet that even fewer people are buying peanut butter, pickles, and jelly together, right? So why even waste our time checking that bigger combination? We don't have to. This simple idea is what lets the algorithm work so efficiently, step by step. First, it just looks for all the single items that are popular. You know, the ones that meet our minimum support. Then, it only uses those popular items to make pairs. Any pair that doesn't turn out to be popular? Gone. It gets pruned away. Then it takes the popular pairs and makes trios. See the pattern? At every single step, it's trimming the branches, pruning away all the unpopular stuff. And that saves an absolutely massive amount of work.
So that's the theory. But how does this clever shortcut actually build a real-world recommendation engine? Let's take a look, because this is where all these abstract ideas become real, tangible tools that businesses use every day.
Okay, so let's look at a case study. Imagine you run a farmer's market. The goal is pretty simple. You want to figure out what new products you should start selling to make more money. The method? We're going to use the a priori algorithm on sales data from a whole bunch of existing markets to find out what the winning product combinations are.
And what the analysis spits out is super clear, super actionable. For instance, the algorithm found that if a market sells baked goods, there is an incredibly strong connection to vegetables. We're talking a confidence of nearly 100%. So boom, your number one recommendation is sell vegetables. And you can see other strong links pop up too for things like honey and jams, maybe with a little less confidence, but still really significant.
And the really cool part is, you can build this into a simple tool. Like, you can just plug in the products you already sell, let's say baked goods and flowers, and bam! The system uses all those rules it already found to instantly give you a ranked list of the best things to add. You should sell vegetables, then honey, then herbs. It's that easy.
Now, a tool for a farmer's market is a fantastic example, but the real story here is way bigger. It's about how this one simple principle has quietly, behind the scenes, totally reshaped our entire digital world. So let's talk about why this really matters.
I mean, the logic we've just walked through, it's literally a fundamental building block of the modern internet. It's the engine driving Amazon's frequently bought together section. It's the brain behind Netflix and Spotify's recommendations. And it's not just online. It even shapes the physical world, helping stores figure out the best way to lay out their aisles or which products to put on sale. It's like this invisible hand, constantly guiding you towards your next purchase, your next song, your next movie.
So the next time you're online and you get a recommendation that feels just a little too perfect, you'll know what's going on. It's not magic. It's just simple, powerful logic working on data. And that really leaves you with one last question to chew on, doesn't it? What other hidden patterns in what you buy, what you watch, what you listen to, what other patterns are quietly shaping your world right now?